and your unborn child. It is completely psychopathic. Completely psychopathic for a person to hold their stomach and say, I want to end my life because I'm so miserable here. Of course, she is expecting that in response, Harry will say, let's leave the UK. And that's exactly what he did. And I want to read that passage from his book. So here is Harry detailing that suicidal, I guess you would call it suicidal and homicidal discussion that she had. She was homicidal and suicidal. She was going to kill her baby and kill herself. So she's a homicidal, suicidal maniac is what she actually is in this passage. He says, I walked home from the office and found Meg sitting on the stairs. She was sobbing uncontrollably. My love, what's happened? I thought for sure we'd lost the baby. I went to her on my knees. She choked out that she didn't want to do this anymore. Do what? Live. I didn't catch her meaning at first. I didn't understand. Maybe didn't want to understand. My mind just didn't want to process the words. It's all so painful, she was saying. What is? To be hated like this. For what? What had she done? She asked. She really wanted to know. What sin had she committed to deserve this kind of treatment? She just wanted to make the pain stop, she said. Not only for her, but for everyone. For me. For her mother. But she couldn't make it stop, so she had decided to disappear. Disappear? Without her, she said, all the press would just go away. And then I wouldn't have to live like this. Our unborn child would never have to live like this. So if she kills the baby won't have to live through bad press. That's what she's saying to her husband as she's crying, right? If I kill our child, then our child won't have to read all of the bad press. It's so clear, she kept saying. It's so clear. I just have to stop breathing, stop being. This exists because I exist. I begged her not to talk like that. I promised her that we'd get through it and that we'd find a way. In the meantime, we'd find her the help she needed. I asked her to be strong and to hang on. And that, my friends, is the point in this book where Meghan orchestrates manipulating him to leave the royal family. And he can't see it because he's thick, as we've learned throughout this entire book. He's very thick and he believes everything that she says. He believes every time she cries, every time he finds her in the heap on the floor sobbing over mundane things like bridesmaid dresses. He really believes that she's a person that's in pain. This is a 40-year-old woman who manipulated her way from the bottom to the top by marrying somebody who was the producer on the show who gave her her start in life, then divorcing him and finding a prince that is too thick to see what everybody else in the entire world can see. And of course, by the way, he's got an incredible memory when it comes to his conversations with Meg. He's got an incredible memory about every instance that he and Willie have a bang up and a mash up and every time that they exchange words. But during a particular phone call in which Willie clearly laid out for him why he disliked Meg.
Babe, are you serious?
No. Meghan, point by point by point, explaining to him how rude she had been to people that worked at the palace, how rude she had been to Kate. Harry, his memory just goes foggy. He says he's too tired to remember what Willie had even said on the phone. He was just too exhausted. He doesn't remember anything that Willie said in that entire discussion. That disallows us to then assess whether or not Willie maybe had some points about the fact that he was concerned that his brother was going to marry someone that everyone thinks is a sociopathic narcissist. He can't remember that part. It's too foggy. All he remembers from that conversation are that her tears were glistening. Meghan overheard it, and her tears were glistening as she held her belly, and she was pregnant before she threatened to kill her unborn child. So, yeah, it goes on and on with how many times we learn that Meghan cried and was in a heap and was in a puddle, and I think we're supposed to feel bad for her. And Harry, I think by the end of this book, you're supposed to realize that Harry is just a really sad, unfortunate person.
I feel good. I feel happy.
Because he was born to give a spare kidney to his brother. Something that just so factually, listen, that conversation never.
Criticize Meghan, as we can hear I am. People say, well, you're racist. And honestly, it's not even a second thought to me. Only comes up in the minds of those who are truly racist, and that's never people like me. I'm just observing the dress is better.
Today.
So wait a minute. The dress is better on Kate. How she wears it is better. So this racist thing is really old and tired, but I think it's just people's way of sort of saying, you must not criticize Meghan.
Well, duh.
Back at Buckingham Palace, Katie Hopkins is still railing against Meghan. But there's also an admission. An economic Markle sparkle.
Harry and Meg's are new money. I can almost hear the tills.
Yes, they are new money. And I do think in terms of a new...
What?
In terms of a new kind of era of profitability, the social media generation for the royal family and all of that. Of course, Markle's got that sewn up. But this is what it's all
Hang
about.
on a second.
I nearly said something nice about Markle.
Lord. Again.
You concede that she's good for royal business.
No, she's good for business. She's good for Meghan Markle's business.
Now, while Meghan trashing seems to be a popular sport at the moment...
Bam! Oh, bop!
Popular sport at the moment... It also pays to remember her greatest supporter is also a great warrior. I think Harry's the most interesting part of this whole story.
So true.
Let's go. So that was
this whole story.
So true.
He's doing his own thing.
True.
He's almost winding everyone up, going, come get me, because I'm after a fight.
Oh, this is so true. And it is very much like he is just determined.
just cool.
It's very much like he is just determined to go anti-establishment. He's flicking the V sign to everything that he was brought up by.
So it's not Meghan. It's Harry's fault.
It's Harry.
Wait a minute.
But Harry is redeemable because Harry was in a uniform and he was in a helicopter and he was in Afghanistan. Meghan was only ever in cheap movies.